animal passed this way.
Dog, a polar bear?
No,
what?
trust me, you'd know if you'd seen it.
Is it actually in that shot? I couldn't see that.
No, it's only the sound.
You don't see it?
But you get the point.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
We discussed lots of things for this, didn't we? Mini motors and go-karts and skateboards. Everything. I think the bike was the best choice.
But again, this is a scene that, when I read it after Adrian had written it, I mean, Adrian had a series of going down escalators on the bike, and it was a great scene. It's just that even though the location was cooperative, we just couldn't find time of shooting it. I'm pleased with the sequence, but the sequence was a lot more involved.
I think it's a great sequence. I mean, you write an action scene, you always know that it's going to be a collaboration between what you suggest and the director and everybody else's contribution and what can actually be done on the budget and in the time.
I think that's the thing, time, because audiences are so well educated now and their expectations are high when it comes to action. And,
yeah.
And we had one night to shoot this.
Bang. Love that.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it, for television, is that you have one night to do this, whereas features would spend a week.
Yeah, easily.
Like
More than a week.
Yeah, not two, yeah.
And unfortunately, the audience doesn't make any distinction anymore.
No.
Between films and what we do. There used to be a time when people would say, oh, it's television, so therefore it'll be different, but they certainly don't do that anymore. And nor should they. Having said which, I think it's an absolutely fantastic sequence.
It's fun. Although I would have liked to have them go down the escalators, Adrian, that.
We'll use that next time.
I'm surprised to get anywhere in those things on that floor.
Well, this was a very sensitive thing because obviously motorbikes in this location, the location management were nervous about, but they were very cooperative in the end, thank heavens.
I did have sort of nightmare visions of our actors being deposited through the plate glass window at Starbucks or something. But
well, there's a missing rifle here, and I have to put my hand up to it.
Yeah, where is that rifle, Jamie?
Well, this again there's a great moment that Adrian had written that. Where Jim actually comes off his bike, where Cutter has to help him up, but we just couldn't make it work. Just because of time, not because of anything else.
It's a great shot, though. It's Connor being serious, which I like. Because quite often he's a funny character, and in this he's deadly serious. And he's actually done something good. He's made something work. And now he's funny.
Bet you boys are glad you give me a gun now. Huh? Yeah.
They're just getting better and better together, these two, aren't they?
And we actually shot this, I think the next director, I think it maybe had already shot most of his episodes. I had to come back and do the scene because it's one of those that we didn't manage to get in my block.
I could run and get you a glass of water right now.
I think Connor, I'm fine.
You know, I want you to know something. If I was going to shoot anyone, you'd so be like the last person I'd shoot.
Hannah's really come on, hasn't she? She's just doing such a great job.
She's so confident in knowing this shit.
Either of you.
Can we drop this?
Yeah.
Can we move the gun? At the Abbey area.
Sure.
Thanks.
And she's great. Her work ethic is amazing, I think, because of the amount of hard work that they had to go through daily, hourly in S Club. She's just absolutely ready for work.
It probably all feels like a holiday now, doesn't it, after that?
Probably does.
Like a bird's wing than anything reptilian.
Mind, she's never sung in this show, has she?
No, not yet. Although, Series 3, Adrian?
No. I think a karaoke sequence was mentioned, but it's probably been dropped by now.
We don't know what's waiting on the other side for us.
When you put it like that, it sounds so easy.
I'm going to do this on my own.
She's great, and she's does a wonderful job with Abby. I just couldn't imagine anybody else doing
I
it.
didn't say I wouldn't. I just prefer it if I do my own volunteering. Thank you.
When you look at the anomaly there, you see the advantage of making 3D rather than 2D. It's in front of him, it's round him. They're sort of at the edge of it, and those little ones floating between the camera and the actors is great.
The anomaly scenes are tough because each time we cut to the anomaly, it's essentially a new shot. And for budget reasons, we have an allocated number of shots, and it's a constant juggle in post.
But you make it all look so effortless, Jamie.
It's when they never know what you intended in the first place, Adrian. That's it.
FM.
You say that it was at all interesting.
What is that noise? Is it just a made-up electronic noise?
Well, Tim spotted it. It was actually inspired by...
Inspired by Homage 2.
It was indeed. Homage to another film, which maybe I shouldn't mention.
I think you have to mention it, don't you?
Well, it was Contact. I just love that sound.
Oh, Contact. Okay, yeah.
And even though it's not the sound, it was a homage.
But if it is the anomaly that's causing this, that means there could be radio interference on this wavelength any time that one opens.
Which would explain why Helen is...
Well, of course, this sets up we've got to take the anomalies forward, and in this series they develop a detector. But there's plenty of places they can go with the anomaly, and that's sort of enough to make sure that all the stories in the next series are slightly different from the first series, because now they can spot it.
Corner. It's down to you.
It's an interesting one for Andrew to pitch, because he's excited at the responsibility, but then he thinks he doesn't want it because that means Cutter doesn't come back.
Yeah. I mean, part of the journey on this show is both Connor and Abby growing up, and Connor has to take on a huge responsibility in the series arc that we've got planned for him.
They rarely have scenes together, these two, don't they? What does it matter? It's so lovely when they do.
Tell me anyway.
Because you can really see that Cutter's been softened by his relationship with the rest of his team.
Yeah. Dougie plays that really well. He's sort of grave without being too solemn. And there's a sparkle in his eyes.
As she was strong when about it.
She meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
Where is that place behind?
Sorry.
The location.
Some abandoned...
Yeah, it's
heating.
back at Kinetic near where the Ark is.
But what are those things? They were...
I think they're old heating. I think that dressing is... I think Spook's shot there.
I thought it was your wine cellar, Tim. It looks like a wine cellar.
Tim's wine cellar's much bigger than that.
But he hasn't got any wine in it.
These two won't be asleep for
We're back to the Canaries then.
What was the name of the actual island?
It's Fuerteventura.
Fuerteventura. And is there anything on it at all, or is it just like completely volcanic?
Well, there's a lot of holiday resorts.
Oh, there are. I was wondering about that.